Hey guys, it's Digital Hunting Gear Guy. I wanted to show you guys just how I clean my M&P 9. I've had this thing for a while. I think I've got about 3,000 or 4,000 rounds through it, and it's a really easy pistol to clean. If you're like me, you've probably went through, I don't know, like 3 or 4 of these videos just looking at different ways how to clean these things. So I'll just show you my way. It's nice and easy. There's not too much time you need to put into it, and man, this pistol is so reliable. I love it. So just some of the things you'll need. I like to have a couple of these half-tear pieces of paper towel on the side, just so I can put anything that's oily or nasty on them. I've got a bottle of just whatever CLP I could get my hands on, in this case G96, and I've got a 9mm pull-through bore snake here. So that's all I've got. First things first, let's make sure that there's nothing in the magazine. Let's make sure it's empty, and it is. And it just so happens that's how we're going to disassemble it anyways. Let's pull that disassembly knob down. I like to hold it because it sometimes gets jammed up there, so I just hold it forward as we go through there. Pull the trigger, and off we go. And you can see here that it's got a little bit gunky in there, so let's make sure that we can clean that up. I'm going to pull that rod off. I just got back from a competition where we were, training and shooting a lot of rounds, so this thing is pretty gross. Part of it was like laying on the ground and really getting down and dirty with it, so it'll be really nasty. I'm just going to pull this off to the side. That'll mess with the white balance on the camera. So just along here, like not a lot of this stuff is critical. If you see some brass shavings in here, you're going to want to clean that off. I'm just going to use my cloth here and just kind of wipe down these channels where some of this carbon and gunk starts to accumulate. And you can see here, if you have this well oiled before, it's going to be really easy to clean off. Yeah, I'm just going to get in there in that channel, get a little bit, it's not really a barrel bushing, but where the barrel would go. Not really going to deal with the rails too much because it's almost like a self-cleaning action. Because it's just got these 2 little rails over here, they kind of scrub out anything that's going to be really sticking in there. Whereas like with a full rail system, you might want to make sure it's a little bit cleaner because it'll need that rail really clean. The M&P will just kind of self-clean those rails. So especially around this striker blocker here, I'm just making sure that that's all nice and clean. Really easy stuff. And this stuff's all just wiping right away. I'm not even using any like cleaner or anything on here, and that's because it was nicely oiled before. So there's nothing too crazy. I'm getting a little bit of carbon here that just isn't going away. So all I'm going to do is just throw a little bit of oil, this CLP, on my cloth, and then just use that point to work at that carbon a little bit. There we go. Now it's wiping away. Still a little bit in there. There we go. Perfect. Now the next part I'm going to clean here, and you'll find it's different depending on your ammo, but I'm just going to clean the face of the just the face of the, was it the breech? Just the face where the case sits there. Just going to clean that off. Get that port on the top here that you're supposed to see through and be able to see your ammo. Sometimes that collects with crap and gets all carbony and all that kind of stuff. You can see the top here has been marked up by, I was running a one-point rifle sling, so my rifle was dinging up against my pistol and making a bunch of marks on it, and those are cleaning right off. Like, these things have an amazing finish on them. They're really hard wearing, so there's not really a lot that you're going to do to it to really damage it up. Like, it's already cleaned off, and that's from banging around on an AR-15 all weekend. Just from having the pistol in my holster and hitting it. Cleaning really nicely here. I think I'm just about done with the slide. Let's see, I'm just looking for like dirt and that kind of thing. This is more cosmetic than anything. Let's take a look on the inside. Yeah, good enough. Okay, let's put this guy off to the side. Let's grab the barrel. You can see here it's really well oiled. That's a good thing. Let's just clean that off. That feed ramp, this is the only thing that I want to make sure that it's really clean, and it's really easy to clean because it's kind of plated chrome or polished. So basically, you just saw there, just one wipe and it cleaned right off. I'm going to get kind of towards the edges here. Some more areas that got marked up for my rifle. Just around the, well, it's not this, on an AR-15 this would be there, on a 1911 this would be the swinging link. I don't really know what they call this, the fixed piece that goes on the barrel, piece that actuates the short recoil action. And it's just cleaning up really nicely. Again, this stuff's all really easy. This pistol's kind of designed to be really easy to clean and use very little maintenance. I'm just going to give the chamber a really quick rub down. I'm just going to kind of jam this cotton in there and just get it nice and cleaned off. And that's just before I do my my pull through here. So on my pull through, and you can get the real deal on these, or you can get these things off eBay, just the cheap Chinese versions of them. I've got a couple of those cheap Chinese versions, they're not bad. I'm just going to throw a little bit of oil on the front bit here. It'll make it easier to pull through, and it'll do a better job of just kind of cleaning it. And as this back part's swiped through, this will take off all the excess oil. So even if I've got quite a bit of oil on this first bit here, it'll still be alright. So I'm just going to pull this through. Try to keep it straight so that your bristles aren't like wearing a little bit on the muzzle end, a little bit more than the other side. And maybe just one more. Again, you don't have to do a heck of a lot on these. These, like, I probably don't even have to do this, but I'm a civilian, you know, I kind of enjoy just cleaning off my guns and making sure that they're nice and clean and oiled and ready to roll. I don't need to run it to failure and see where it fails at. So I'm just going to take a look down the breech here. Yeah, the inside is just nice and sparkly, nice and clean, so we're all good on that side. Let's put the barrel off to the side. Now this spring can be a little bit hard to clean. You can use a toothbrush if you're really crazy. I'm not really crazy. I'm just going to kind of wipe it and give it a best effort. This is something that I clean a little bit more, like when I've got a lot of grit in here or a lot of garbage. I'll do a better job cleaning it, but for today I'm just going to give it a quick wipe down. I mean, I could take it apart, but I'm too lazy. And it's like, this isn't really the part that's going to fail on you. When it comes to the internals, I mostly just give everything a really quick wipe. I can see I oiled that stupid barrel like a little bit too much last time because I've got too much excess oil on the inside of the dust cover here, and there shouldn't really be any oil in there, so I hit it too hard last time. But all I do is really just clean things off, get some of that garbage off there. If there's brass shavings from your cases, try to wipe those off. I try to, there's a couple of places in here where this trigger bar kind of moves back, and what I like to do is just stick a piece of t-shirt in there, let go, so that it's putting a little bit of pressure on it, and just pull up. You'd be surprised how much carbon that just takes off, just that little swipe there. And again, this isn't crazy stuff. I'm not looking to get it to spotless. I just want it to be a little bit cleaner and get a little bit of that garbage off there. Plus, this last time I was out, there was a little bit of rain, so I just wanted to get in here and make sure it's nice and dry, nice and oiled. Nothing on the inside is going to rust, at least, right? So I want to make sure I want to get lots of oil on everything, and I think that's good. You know, if you've got a bunch of, there's some crap in the mag well here. I'm just going to pull through this t-shirt. Just be careful you don't pull so hard that you like rip on any of these protrusions on the top side there. I'm just going to do this carefully. And this is just to, I snagged a little bit on that guy there. Let me pull it back. Get that guy out. And this is just to get some of that garbage out of there, some of that dirt that I got in from going prone and grinding it into the ground. There we go, starting to look pretty clean now. I'm going to be happy with that. So if you really want to, and if you want to really get this part clean, you don't have to disassemble it. A lot of what you can do is get pipe cleaners and start sticking them in some of these spots. And a pipe cleaner, you'd be surprised where, like how much it can fit in. Let me just grab one over here. I mean, if you go to these places, A, you know, get a bunch of crafts for the kids and that kind of thing, but B, you can get a big bag of these things for cheap, and they are awesome for cleaning all these weird to get to places that are a little bit difficult with a cloth, but very easy for one of these guys to get into and kind of clean some of those weird spots. And you can see there, I'm just getting in the trigger return spring, which is very difficult to get to with a cloth, is super easy to get to with a pipe cleaner. And this is mostly just cleaning off the top, right? I'm not doing a crazy job of taking this thing apart and getting in between those springs. I'm just pulling the trigger right now to loosen the springs off a little bit, and then getting the pipe cleaner in there. Good enough. So let's re-oil this thing and reassemble. So within here, all I'm going to do is grab a fresh piece of paper towel. This is mostly to keep the oil off my fingers. I'm going to just double wrap it, soak a little bit. I'm just going to use that to dab on the places that are going to see a little bit more wear. So these slide portions here, and I can fold it and kind of get it in underneath there. And I'm going to hit this with a rag afterwards too. My ejector, nothing else in here really matters. I mean, I guess if I wanted to, I could get into the sear and get that a little bit of oil, because it does wear a little bit. And that's it. Just this is even a little bit too much, but you know, I don't know when the next time I'm going to shoot this pistol, so I want to make sure that it's well oiled, and I'm not going to crack it open and find some rust. That's definitely not what I want to see. So I'm just getting the working surfaces here. I'm not going to get on the feed ramp or anything like that. I want to make sure that that's nice and clear, so I don't oil at all in here. I do these rear 2 points here. I give them just a little touch, and that's because they bear against this flat surface here. So I want to make sure that that's just got a little bit of oil on it because it is moving. The spring, yeah, I might just throw on a little bit more oil. You can tell the difference when the spring is well oiled versus not well oiled, because it'll make kind of like a scraping or a whoosh kind of a sound when you're pulling the slide back. Just put that off to the side. When it comes to the actual slide itself, I'm just going to grab a couple of the internal surfaces. And keep in mind, this will attract grit, but it'll also make it a lot easier to clean off, so it's kind of like a trade-off. That's all I'm going to do here, is just that one spot there that's going to wear. Maybe up here, I'll just give that a real quick wipe with oil. And I think that's about it. Yeah, maybe I might get that lug portion right there. And then let's reassemble and see. Oh, for my barrel, I'm just going to give it just a little bit on the front here. This is just where it's going to wear against that that barrel, I'm afraid. So it's wet, but it's not dripping. Let's reassemble. Barrel goes in, recoil spring goes in, push it, wiggle it into place, and then push it down. Hold this guy down, your disassembly lever, pull it back. Let's see how that sounds. That's making a bit of a scraping sound. I don't know if I'm going to worry about it too much. Here's where I'll grab my rag and just kind of, A, get your fingers dried off if they got any oil on them, and then B, get in there and just get anywhere where there might be a little bit too much oil that accumulated. There's also where you can get in under the guide rod where you might have got a little bit more dirt since it's pulled back. And this is just kind of the lazy way of cleaning off your guide rod, is just get it when it's back like that. Just get off some of the other oil. test your trigger pull. That seems good to me. So this is just a really quick video on how I clean my M&P 9. Thanks for watching.